There was once a boy named Omar who resided on Starry Street, a dead-end alley with tall trees, yellow lamps, and houses resembling they had been plucked from children's bedtime stories. Omar was like any other 10-year-old kid. He loved chocolate chip cookies, disliked homework, and was never able to locate both of his socks simultaneously. But there existed one thing regarding Omar that differentiated him very significantly. He walked in his sleep. Not a few steps. Not a few to the kitchen to get water. No, Omar sleepwalked out of his home, across gardens, under fences, and once, even onto the roof of his school building. Nobody ever caught him doing it. But every few nights, his parents would discover him in the most peculiar places, passed out in the mailbox, standing in the bathtub wearing sunglasses, or sleeping calmly beneath the neighbor's apple tree. They did everything, alarms on his door, motion lights, even swaddling him in a snug burrito of blankets. But somehow, Omar always managed to slip away, like a whisper in the dark. I think Omar's dreaming too loudly. His little sister Zara laughed one morning when he was discovered fast asleep in the dog's bed, cuddling a hairbrush like a teddy bear. Omar himself never forgot a thing. I closed my eyes, and then, poof, morning, he'd say. But one evening, something unusual occurred. The moon was a big silver globe, and the wind rustled through the leaves with a secret. At midnight sharp, Omar sat up in bed. His eyes were open, but not awake really. He smiled softly, got out of bed, and padded silently out of his bedroom. He didn't see the mist that glowed around his ankles like playful kittens. The front door creaked open by itself, just a crack, and Omar went out. The world sparkled. The stars were shining brighter than ever, and the moon seemed close enough to reach out and touch. Omar ambled down the street, as quiet as a ghost, by sleeping houses and shuttered shops. But this evening, he did not sneak into the neighbor's garden or scale a tree. No, his feet carried him to the edge of town, where the trees ran wild and the road ended. He walked into the whispering woods. Now everybody in town knew not to venture into the forest at night. Not for monsters, no, because of enigma. Folks said the trees moved. That the animals spoke in riddles. That time itself might hiccup and burp and send you to yesterday by mistake. But Omar, smiling and sleeping, walked farther into the wood. The trees curved aside, allowing him to pass. Fireflies illuminated his way, and gentle music vibrated in the air, like lullabies by the stars. And then he arrived at a clearing. There was a gigantic stone ring at its center, softly glowing with silver runes. A beast sat upon the largest of stones, half fox, half owl, with eyes of finely polished mirrors. Ah, it said, the dream walker has come. Omar did not say a word. But he moved into the circle, and suddenly, his eyes shone. His feet left his body. He floated softly in the air, rotating slowly like a leaf on an autumn breeze. You tread the realms between waking and sleep, the monster announced. Each time you dream, you travel. You go places other people cannot. You bear desires, terrors, and secrets in your steps. But you don't recall, yet. Omar drifted higher. The stars above appeared to nod in approval. You're special, Omar, the monster breathed. You're more than a sleepwalker, you're a dream messenger. You deliver stories from person to person. You soothe children who weep in their sleep. You drive away nightmares like a pajama-clad knight. The fog whipped around more quickly. The woods pulsed. But more, the monster went on. Soon, you will awaken and recall. And there he was, poof, in bed again. Sunlight filtered through the window. Birds sang. And Omar sat up wide-eyed. I remember, he whispered. He was quiet that morning. He saw the trees differently. He smiled at passers-by, even strangers. And for the first time in his life, he sleepwalked with a purpose the night before. He took a flight of fancy to a little girl who was ill down the street. He breathed peace into the ear of a wailing baby. He planted a radiant feather on Zara's pillow. She discovered it and laughed for 10 whole minutes. Night after night, Omar walked. And gradually, the town became aware that sleeping was easier, dreaming softer, and being afraid no longer seemed so frightening. Nobody understood why. Nobody except Zara, and the fox owl perched in the trees. And thus, the boy who used to roam in his sleep evolved into something wonderful, a silent guardian of dreams, a star-crossed traveler, and a hero in blankets. And if you wake up one morning with a smile on your face for no reason, maybe, just maybe, Omar passed by your window last night,